Dear viewer, listener, taster, you might suck on your screen, I may never know. I don't want to know. The manifesto of this brand's spanking new movie show is simple. Okay, we don't kink shame around here either. Spanking new, whipping new, paddling, whatever floats your boat or flogs your butt. But to the point at hand. Snobbish niches. Fanboys only treehouses. Convoys. Cinema police. Kino gatekeepers. Sure, knowing more about a movie than the great unwashed masses might make you feel a way. But if movies are about us, about life on Earth, shouldn't we give them back to the people? Here at See No Evil, you don't have to be on the level to enjoy cinema citizenship. You can say you've not seen Pulp Fiction. No one cares. There will be no trial by fire because you didn't know if Thanos is Brazilian or landing strip. Stop being so snappy. The planet is burning and flooding. Relax. Every film Fuji has a home at See No Evil. CNE believes you're not the movies you consume. You're not your job. You're not how much money you have in the bank. You're not the car you drive. You're not the contents of your wallet. You're not your khakis. That's right, Tyler Durden nerds. There is no spoon. Fear is the mind killer. You shall not pass. Okay, so Gandalf probably doesn't fit the metaphor here, but maybe his faith in people literally too short to be overlooked politically. It's a stretch, whatever. You're a galaxy more than things and stuff. Let go. Invite others in, movies and people. Here at See No Evil, we believe that movies shouldn't be abstracted out of reality into absolute escapism scapegoats for non-resonance, or art beyond reach of Philistine normies curated by a self-selected 1% that no one might meaningfully make personalized and systemic sense of that product's existence. Film is by people, for people. Celluloid is viciously flammable, and it's yours for fuel if you would just take it! I am JP Sebastian, we see no evil. Was in that cocaine? Okay. Play by play. Who am I? What am I doing here? And such like. Way to stoke your imposter syndrome, JP, the movie show on the gaming channel. So that's the first thing. Second is, of course we can agree movies with games aren't too weird, as lines are blurred between these media. Whether it's the way Red Dead and Death Stranding encourage us to get cinematic or with the right stick on a ride or run, or cinema slowly learning what elements of play make video game adaptations better. Slowly learning. Please, Fox Roberts, don't fuck up Metal Gear. Speaking of which, The Phantom Pain, which I just played and finished, and is fantastic, clearly, and a certain A-Team feel. Ah, yes, that's right. Why that intro sequence for CNE? Well, monkeys are a damn delight. In making this, I imagined a show about a crack commando unit of them, and on completion of the sequence, cry to God through tears of laughter, "What have we done?" I'm so sorry this isn't the Black Ops Ape show soon. There's really nothing else to it. Though I swear we'll expound on the likes of Spymate and Most Valuable Primate eventually. Oh yes, we will. Oh yeah, and why see no evil? Well, of course, taken from the Eastern philosophical aphorism of the same sound and blinkered minky, my love to Peter Sellers. It's similarly up for interpretation. Does it mean avoid bad movies? Does it mean movies no bad? Try one of these recommendations. What's the worst that could happen? Or that we're sleepwalking through cultural crit of film? We'll see. Or we won't. It's all very confusing. As far as some kind of mission statement, I hope to remind you that there's no harm in opening the floor to whoever about whatever movie. I want your granny to feel her right to opine on Marvel or DC, and for us to walk it off if she calls them crap. Billionaires barely need our help dying on hills for their trillion-dollar literal properties. Besides, we all know your granny's probably holding out for the most violent, slain 2000 AD universe possible. Or she's a dope rider girl. Either way, bless her soul. So I'm suspicious of obedient, narrative-drilled mass consumer armies of free-of-charge advertisers. Of course, some fans are bona fide aficionados. Good on ya. Have at it. But let's never hang others for not being on the same page as you, me, or whoever again, ever again. Most everyone's welcome here. But it's not just corners of a pop cultural fandom we should worry about, but the con boys too. I'm suspicious about anyone snobbishly abstracting movies out of real-life existence, uncriticizable or even apprehendable by anyone but the critic cream of the crop. A sort of do not remove from box syndrome, but against normies sullying pure cinema with their cow-eyed sight and mindless grazing. Buñuel would probably give you the Chiandelou eye treatment if you act like only PhDs are allowed to find the discreet charm of the bourgeoisie intriguing. No such woeful defanging of film trying to interrogate terra firma life over here. Let's rub two frames together, make analytical fire, be right, be wrong, be interesting, whatever. I'm gonna go catch a lung while you unhinge your jaws in the glory of maybe my favorite movie of all time.
Move back! Fucking move back! Stop! Cease fire! Cease firing! Cease firing! Cease firing! Cease fire!
A mouthful! So now and then I might detour to ask you questions about movies. And questions about our questions about movies. Here at CNE, we like to call it the orangutangent. But I swear not to get too navel-gazy. That's premium content anyway on my OnlyFans. You don't need the trauma, it doesn't exist. Aside from all the fluffy stuff, CNE is also as movie shows can get. Bringing you news, reviews, reaction, interviews, all the good old not broke, don't fix it stuff too. Some of it coming up in this very episode. But continuing my nice to meet ya, let's do this.
Speed?
Yeah.
I'm the champ.
Man.
Rolling. Okay. Michael B. Jordan.
My man.
JP, I just want to extend to you what I said to your comrades now. Just at a personal level, you gave me a movie that made me feel like I need to take my father to see this, and for that I thank you.
Oh man, that means a lot. Appreciate you, bro.
If you've ever been hit in the face, you know that your brain jumps tracks. Something changes and you can't avoid that. But you have to be a professional actor. What is going on in Michael B. Jordan's brain when he takes one right there?
It's a great question.
What's up? Hi, I don't want to waste any of your time. Sorry, we're over here.
No, thank you so much. And I don't want to waste any of yours. Jeez,
No, you won't. No.
So, you've been on the other side of the planet. My name is JP. It's really cool to meet you guys.
What's up? Same to you, sir.
Thanks so much. South Africa, if you know anything about that. Well, you know,
cool.
Yeah, been there. Love it.
Yeah, same.
Climbed Lion's Head.
Excellent. I'll try and find a mountain that's got anything to do with dogs for you. So. It's such a cliche to say it, but Queens, Lupita Nyong'o and Denai Gurira. But a great lady once told us, don't freeze. I want to get You're stuck with me in the meantime, but if you'll allow me to quote a movie like A Complete Cheese Bowl, they should have sent a poet.
Contact. Yes. Oh, I'm glad you like that.
Love it so much, but we love you too. It is a complete gobsmacking surreal honor to be speaking with you. Jodie Foster, by the way, in case somehow you didn't know. How does it flip the sort of expectation of what people have of a Liam Neeson movie? It takes a bit of a detour, doesn't it?
Well, yes, I guess it does. I mean, if you mean by Liam Neeson movie that I do these action adventure things,
But I think you veer pretty well from that brink. Tell us about the design. Did you model him on someone? And then just tell us a bit about Ramsey Cole, the character in Jurassic World.
You know what? I'm so glad you asked that question, man.
You know what I mean? And so that's why she feels as real and multidimensional as she does.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, you get what I'm saying. Could have easily been a device, an apparatus that moves the larger thing along. Just, Chris, could you do me a solid though? If I get too talkative or too excited, oh geez, could you just maybe reach out? There we go. Bryce, if you could make clicking noises with your face, Bryce, then my attention will be...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's more dolphin. I need to click it up.
All right.
I'll just...
You're already doing it.
Peace. Thank you. my inner blue. What's the message? If you don't want to use a word that strong, but what's the feeling you want people to come away with in a movie that feels pretty hopeful by the end of it? In a quadruple apocalypse that we're going through right now as a planet.
Yeah. Can you write all of the reviews? Is there a way we can arrange that?
Hey, Jordan, thanks so much.
Appreciate you, bro.
It's an honor to meet you.
Same.
Since The Wire.
Man, throwback. Appreciate you, bro.
Sorry if I made you feel old.
No, just said it's a throwback, man.
This genius froze trying to deliver the line, "Don't freeze." You try talking to girls. Females? Anyway. But on to future JP. Since we're both still getting to know each other, I swear we're cracking Cabernet, Candlelight, and Kenny G soon. How about we get ourselves prematurely jacked off some forthcoming titles? Prematurely jacked off. It's terrible. This is not a mandrel. These are some of my most anticipated for the rest of 2022. I promise not to freeze this time, pre-booking on pure muscle memory when knockout director Ryan Coogler returns with what teases to be an exceptionally beautiful Black Panther. Speaking of snobbish niches, the menu screams eat the rich and I'm starving. A dream or nightmare horror pairing of The Witch and a Red Dragon. Big Daddy Cameron's back to show the rest of the world builders how it's done. Even as a non-stan, I'm ready to respect a labor of love. Or at least salute the boys in blue. A sequel to a side character spin-off 10 years later has no business looking this intriguing. I feel like Spider-Verse told animations you can do what you want. And then the nerdy stuff. Now that we're closing curtains on planet Earth, it seems like some other awesome directors are asking serious questions about the IRL impacts of movies. Much like this show's going concern. It's managing middling reviews, but how? Director Sam Mendes, Trent Reznor, and Atticus Ross, God King Roger Deakins? I bow in hope to the Empire of Light. Damien Chazelle looks to be taking a more grown stab at Tinseltown compared to idyllic La La Land with Babylon, and holy shit, this looks impressive. That's as poetic as I can get on Steven Spielberg surely returning to form with The Fabelmans, reminding you movies are yours for the taking and the making. As you could have guessed from the big tent ethos of the show, I worry about underdogs, undermonkeys. Like this time last year, which blockbuster was cruising while others were getting crushed? So released in the same week Venom 2 was taking heads and cashing checks, did you manage to catch a semi-gem and a precious metal? By which I mean Old Henry and Titane, or titanium in French, neither of which cracked top 10 in the US. So in this little segment I like to call Capuchin Up. Let's look at two of the little guys you should probably give a chance to when you have the chance, starting with Old Henry. Awesome tension-setting, gorgeous cinematography in a western played out in comparatively pokey spaces. Now I got mad with Hateful Eight for squandering the widest wide Tarantino could buy on shots trapped in a cabin, but somehow the scarce turns to Wild West expanse work in this taut thriller. Due in great measure to the drama chops of handlebar moustache Tim Blake Nelson. The man's a specialist. You've seen him in Oh Brother Where Art Thou, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and I highly recommend Wormwood. Oh, even though it's a small role. Incidentally, he's Balladeer and this Old Henry are the WHO-approved demarcators of Earth pre and in pandemic. Nelson delivers an excellent tightrope act of, don't force me to return to my old ways. Every tool, every weapon is just bursting with contemplation and intent. I also always love seeing Stephen Dorff make turns. He brings it in this one, and I can swear mentally shacked up Arthur Morgan and John Marston to get his voice. It's pretty darn similar. So the story is nothing new, and it's all part of an interesting recent recalibration of The Cowboy, from Power of the Dog to The Sisters Brothers, Five Fingers for Marseille, Bacurau, etc., etc. Was this refiguring kicked off by No Country for Old Men? Well, that's a question for another day. Anyway, it's a solid single-serving 7 and worth your look. Also released this time last year was Julia Ducournau's Titane, a spiritual prequel to Pixar's Cars, insofar as in this movie, a lady makes love to a car twice. Talking cars have to come from somewhere, don't they? The car's fucked right. Ugh, gross. Since I kicked it off with camera work on Old Henry, here it stands out even stronger, somehow slithering and seamlessly hitting its marks on the smallest details as your eye falls on them. Parts grueling body horror, handful of giggles, and actually pretty moving at times. A lady also carries a baby car to term in Titane. I'm not explaining. But only a year earlier, another French lady was boning a Ferris wheel. You do you, boo. But there's a wonderful dynamic between damaged adoptive father and daughter/son, both brilliantly by Vincent Lindon and Agatha Roussel, doubling up as a sweet domestication of a serial killer type theme story. So in ways it feels a Clockwork Orange, and in others it moves with what I could only describe as a breakneck live growth of the character, like maybe Mulholland Drive. And it's similarly fluidly genre-bending, nearly as good as Parasite, but more appropriately the equally wonderfully weird Diamantino, which also tenderly deals with themes of gender transition. It's hearteningly hard-headed about believing in reforming souls and reinventing the family through thick and thin. Nothing that is human is alien to Ducournau. I'll leave you with this strange nugget that two other very similar movies that also deal with alienated women undergoing brutal change and eventually becoming metal are Annihilation and Under the Skin. Also highly recommend. Anyway you look at this, be sure to see it. Let's say 8 out of 10 Titane was solid gold and was also buried by Venom 2. Give it a look. It's officially 11 months since the release of Dune Part 1, and today, an indeterminate count of time units until the release of Dune Part 2, which officially means I get to review Dune? Trust me, there's no mathematical or chronological significance to this day. We asked CERN, the LHC blue screened, and birthed a floating flesh paperclip that immediately demanded, "What is your bidding?" God closes one door, opens another, proud father to a floating flesh paperclip now, I guess. Anyway, starting the show with my favorite movie of last year just makes sense. That's right, the movie to the book that brought you the game that drew a line in the sand, defining the RTS genre. You probably get no Command & Conquer without Dune 2. No StarCraft. I honestly remember dusting off, I think it was a 386, and stumbling upon this fantastic game like some arcane artifact. Truly transported this kid. And now there's Spice Wars in early access and Awakening, and I'll leave that for our video game pros. But how did the new movie do? So, the CNE review. Well, more touchy-feely than a regular review, and more about how Dune made me think about thinking about movies. The mystery of life isn't a problem to solve, but a reality to experience. The Reverend Mother of the Bene Gesserit, Frank Herbert's Dune. This is the instruction for taking in Denis Villeneuve's Dune. He's already indisputable best living, so it ticks every technical box masterfully, from cinematography to score to performances. A 6 Oscar sweep says so too. I mean, for the maker's sakes. He claimed his extraordinary work on Arrival and Blade Runner 2049 were practice for Dune. Fucking gorgeous movies doodling for Dune. So what's left after these fundamentals? It's like wondering what gives a song soul. Ordinarily, I try to cover all these bases, including the contextual, whether political, metaphorical, whatever. How does a movie function, etc., etc. But for the first time in years, I feel enjoined to speak about how Dune operated on me exclusively personally. It's reality to experience. Why that snazzy word, enjoined? Well, because there are very Fremen reasons it's not compelled. I'll leave that philosophical distinction to another day, but as a basic point, consider Paul and Lady Jessica's use of the voice, emulating the victim's own on them, not explicitly commanding the victim. And this is Villeneuve's sleight of hand. We talk a lot about seeing a movie, but things like music might crack the honor of being felt. Even a cheeseburger, though eaten, is understood as ingested, taken in. Fancy pants chefs refer to culinary experiences. Gordon Ramsay will have some dude associating the smell of steamed haddock with the memory of his dad for life. But a movie's outside, over there, and I'm over here. And it was nice, but now I need to think about not dying and reproducing. The razor-thin crop of rarities like Dune need to be understood as more than just ingested, willfully metabolized by you, the moviegoer. A symbiotic exchange between me and every person who worked and put love into it. So I'll summarize how I've observed its claws, or worm teeth, sunk in me mentally and physiologically. Every night for months since seeing it, I struggled to sleep because once my cerebral hamster wheel starts turning on this movie, rests a write-off. I have felt the pressure of an apostle, divinely tasked with transcribing the word. Dune booms in my head, write my story, and JP sweats. But then something weird happened to me regularly, and I'm not kidding. As if to harmonize, not still, the psychic storm, a loop of pipes from Hans Zimmer's score begins from afar in my own head and comes closer from over shifting sands. Corny. I want to avoid this word, but the piece is hypnotic and calming. With this oral reassurance, I begin to write as though it's flowing through me. And the motif might loop in my own head for 1 or 2 hours straight. You know which pipes I'm talking about. Terrible. I'm certain I'll be diagnosed on some spectrum, but it's actually benefited me greatly in, hopefully, doing justice to this Dune at least. There is also an all-embracing visual grammar to Villeneuve's work. And this is how a second physiological operation arises for me within this movie. At a critical point of the story, I felt the need to reach out my right hand, let's use the left for the sake of the green screen, and grasp my friend's shoulder as a sign of, I'm not sure, mutual triumph, gratitude, and no less than 2 seconds later, as a character was being accepted by another, they too had their shoulder grasped as acknowledgement. My endocrine system harmonized nearly perfectly with the rhythm and poetry of Dune. The mark of an unimpeachable movie to me is this kind of collaborative rewiring, a personal lens shift between you and the work of art. More unilaterally, a great horror will get under your skin, working on you for weeks on end. Hereditary was technically a month-long movie for my ragged central nervous system. Screwed me up. For any other genre to work on you at a libidinal level, for sci-fi to worm its way into your subconscious as such, great won't cut it. It's gonna have to be immortal. Dune is without flaw, and it's a sense, more than just a commodity. If you extend a hand, it will take you by the arm, throw you on Shai Hulud, and transport you. For every meter you cross to get to the cinema, Dune will cross 100 light years to meet you there. This is Denis Villeneuve's covenant to you. Yeah, this might all sound like a riddle, but that's just the point. Like some kind of Zen koan where you can only know by going. So I have to repeat, however, the instruction of the Reverend Mother, but this time in an interpretation by Paul Atreides. This is advice to set aside a temptation to be a data junkie, shelf all hype, and enter empty-minded, if you can. Citing the first law of Mentat, Paul says, a process cannot be understood by stopping it. Understanding must move with the flow of the process, must join it and flow with it. I generally resist talking about movies this way. Usually the "you have to be open to it to truly appreciate it" explanation is a cop-out, like your midlife crisis uncle blaming your belief for his chi demonstration failing. It was on YouTube, you heathen. Of course it was real at the time. So I'd be interested to know of any movies that affected you in this hard-to-verbalize way, or anything transformative, please. Share with See No Evil. Or just how to get my uncle to stop trying to use the voice on me. Not buy new brewskis. Go watch Dune.
There's something awakening in my mind. What did you see? There's a crusade coming. Arrakis is a death trap. You must prove you can rule others.
Let's fight like demons.
I know you. The future. I can see it. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Where the fear is gone, only I will remain. Fear is the mind killer.
I nearly forgot the reviews monkey moniker. I called that one Film Criticismian. But now, King Conclusion. Come find CNE on social media and truly do share answers to that question. Which movies worked on you subconsciously that you synced with like Dune do to me? Same time next week, I'm JP Sebastian. We see no evil. Love you, bye-bye.